This is the Buffalo Broadcast Texas High School Athletics Coaching Show.
Please, it'll just take a minute.
Coach, I'm trying.
Because if you can't do, teach. And if you can't teach phys ed.
Special teams, go with forward, Fran, do some laps.
Hey Buffs, it's Grady Tucker, senior tight end for your Haltom Buffaloes. I just want to invite all current students at Haltom to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We meet every other Monday evenings after practices are finished around 6 p.m. Come to enjoy some free food, games, a biblical devotion, and a time of fellowship with other students. For more info, follow us at Haltom FCA on Instagram for specific dates and times, and we just hope to see you there. Go Buffs!
Every day across our great nation, members of the American Legion are shaping and brightening their communities. American Legion members are volunteering to assist wheelchair-bound veterans. Still, others are helping the current generation of service members transition back to civilian life. If you are a wartime veteran, please consider uniting with your brothers and sisters in the nation's largest and most influential veteran service organization. Join the American Legion today.
All right, guys, speaking of the American Legion, we are here live from the American Legion here in Haltom City, just off Carson Road. If you, I don't think it's too late to come down and be fed. Commander's got some food for us. The boys are showing up, which is great. We got Mrs. Tucker here. Of course, we got Coach Tucker right here next to me. And coming in all the way from Buffalo, New York, we got Brad the Bruiser Eichhorn. How you doing, Brad? Looks like you're at the stadium still.
Yes, sir. I'm here and happy to talk with Buffalo Nation and Buffalo, New York.
I love that shirt you've got on. That's pretty cool, man.
Yes,
that's fantastic. Now, was that is that one of the logo shirts from the Buffalo Bills?
The Sabres, it's a Dominic Hasek sweatshirt, believe it or not.
I like it. That's pretty cool, man. Well, before we get started with the Coach's Show, we've got something I think is pretty important that's coming up here in the elections. Coach, I'll get your input on this as well.
Sure.
I'm going to share my screen real quick with everybody. This is something that I feel very passionate about. I hope that that others will kind of look at this as something that maybe we can participate in as well, which is the bond election that's coming up this year. A lot of people have the thoughts, Coach, that this is a new tax, and I think a lot of it, we'll go through the slides on this. The reality is it's not a new tax, but it's something that the boys need. And, I want to walk through kind of the just a couple of things here. Brad, I'm going to take you out of the broadcast for just a second here. So as you look at this, there is a site. It's bisdbond24.net, bisdbond24.net. So if you want to go back and look at this yourself, please do. This bond is specifically for the construction of multi-purpose indoor facilities at each of the 3 high schools. And it's really not completely indoors. Tell us a little bit about that. And we can look at your screen here in a little bit too, Coach. But what exactly, it says it's not, we're told it's not completely indoors. Is that right?
It will be fully covered and able to be completely enclosed, but there will be big doors, garage doors, big fans to keep everybody out of the heat. It's about a 20-degree difference, even without AC, than what the temperatures will be in August. I've talked to some other coaches that have a similar design of what our bond is looking at if this were to pass. So it's a big deal for all our kids, not just our athletes, but the entire school. If it would probably be the most used facility other than the school building itself by every student group every student group in our building will be affected, some directly, but every one of them at least indirectly. It'll be used for community events across the board. I could probably go on for about 4 hours, the different types of activities that could be used in there.
Well, I mean, the biggest one besides football that I think of is the band. I remember driving up to the high school and seeing the band practicing out there on the parking lot in the heat. So they're going to have the opportunity to share it with the football team and other people. And
I know it's for all 3 schools, and compared to the other districts in the Metroplex, we're way behind when it comes to those things. I think that's coming up on the screen.
Right. Look at
a little bit.
Out of the big school districts in the area, there's only four really
right,
that haven't done
yeah.
this.
I think what you have is a Fort Worth side of the Metroplex. Sure, yeah.
I mean, well, Fort Worth that's it.
Dallas, yeah, that's
yeah.
it,
I mean,
pretty
it's
much.
Every school in our districts that we're going to be in, whether it be the Arlington district, the Keller district, or we're in those down the road,
right?
That they've got a slight advantage, in my opinion, for us. So again, this is not a tax rate increase. Now, I've got a tax professional in the room that would probably be very embarrassed if I put her on, but she's not going to go on to talk about this. But it is not. Now, what's confusing about it, and Coach and I are both like, well, I don't really know how that completely works. But I can tell you right here, you can look that we have decreased our school rate taxes over the last couple of years specifically. And, I think this is a very important thing to understand. Homeowners over 65. So if you were like me, I'm not 65 yet, but if you're that guy that's like, I practiced in the dirt with the rocks and and the snakes were coming out and we still, played football. And, if you've got that kind of attitude, it's okay. You're not going to get a new tax. So if you're over 65, don't worry about it. You're not getting anything. You're frozen already. But the language of this thing right here, this is what's confusing. When you go to the ballot, and I did have a chance to vote early this year already, it says very clearly at the bottom, this is a property tax increase. The reality is it's not. But the state law requires any type of funding that they have to put that on there. So my ask is really, vote for this thing. It's been voted down a couple of times. In my opinion, there's no reason for that, Coach. I mean, what are you hearing as to why? Is it just I don't want a new tax, or kids don't need it, or
the two things I've heard, and I can't tell anyone to vote as an employee of the school district, but the two reasons I've heard people have voted no are the tax increase, misinformation, and also I think a lot of people have a perception that this is a luxury type item facility. I don't think people realize that we are one of the only districts in the Metroplex that does not have these. So it's not a luxury item at all. We are behind the curve by any measurement when it comes to these things.
Right. And I mean, we need it, folks. I mean, please, if you get a chance and you haven't voted yet already, and if you already voted and you didn't realize it and you voted against it, that's okay. We'll still love you. But we want to take the time and educate you as much as we can. This is not actually a property tax increase for all of us, really, but specifically those that are over 65, it doesn't matter. Even if it were, it wouldn't matter. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Coach, thank you for – go ahead.
And there's some other things. I don't know if everyone thinks about it. When you see it, it's a big turf field, so everyone's mind jumps to football. And, of course, football will use it. I'm not going to say football wouldn't. But at the same time, every single student group will be affected. Band will be able to use it a lot, maybe more than football by the end of the year. They may use it even on days where we don't need it. Football would mainly need it when we get lightning, so we don't lose practices. Our opponents get to practice when it's lightning. We do not. So that's one big area for us. But when the weather's fine, that's another turf field for the band, or one of the other sports to use, or cheer or drill team or some group like that. And then your court sports. So people think it doesn't affect them. Well, it does. So if we are having lightning, soccer has to go inside. Now we are really, really pressed for gym space. Now we're pressing gym space for wrestling, basketball, soccer, and if football's overlapping a little bit, even football. But soccer and or football will never have to take a gym for anything during a season if we have these spaces. The other thing people also don't realize is you have an indoor, God forbid there's some type of lockdown or something and you've got a bunch of sports outside. Well, we have a building to fit everyone in very quickly than trying to funnel everyone into the building or run them into the neighborhoods if you have some kind of catastrophic event. So there's a big safety concern as well, not just the weather.
Well, I know a few years ago, we had we were in the playoffs, which is, and we're going to talk about football now.
Okay, yeah.
We were in the playoffs, and the weather was not great. It was rainy, cold, and we didn't want to have the boys outside. Fortunately for us, and at Haltom, we have a coach that has a great relationship with other coaches in the area, and you were able to call Coach Dodd up and get access to the South Lake indoor facility for the boys to practice.
We were able to get a practice over there. We made sure Coach Dodge's team wasn't practicing, and we staggered our practice enough to get over there and get a good workout in, so it was really nice.
Well, and I don't want our boys to feel like they have to go do that, nor any of our kids, and I just think there's so many opportunities for the district. It's not just Haltom. It is also going to be Richland and Birdville, so they're all going to get facilities out of this bond measure. All right. Well, Brad, I'm sure you guys have those in New York because it's cold up there.
Well, the Buffalo Bills do, but the high schools, no, absolutely not.
We don't want to talk about that. That's right. Not to cut you off, Brad, but yeah, you're supposed to say absolutely they do.
They need them. They need that bomb package up here.
That's right. It's important. I think it's really important. Well, Coach, did you have anything else you want to add on the bomb?
No, I mean, if you want to share the screen, there's another little example.
Sure.
That right there is the Metroplex 6A schools, which you're a part of. Also, every school that's highlighted in green has an indoor practice facility, and the ones that aren't highlighted green do not. And so as you can see, it's in the district we happen to be in. We're the only school that does not have one. You see all the Arlington schools, both Grand Prairie schools have them, and so I think that's very telling. There's a couple other schools that don't have them also, but we're definitely in the minority on this one.
Well, and that's something that we don't want to give any reason for us not to have a competitive edge, in my opinion. No reason whatsoever. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Brad, I had a chance. I wasn't able to be at the game, but I did go back and watch it. I saw some really cool things, some really cool highlights. We moved the ball down the field several times. I know Coach is going to go into some of that with us. It wasn't the outcome that we wanted, Coach. But, Brad, I'll let you ask questions if you've had a chance to look at that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you look at a score where it's 45-7 to take away some positives in this one, but there's plenty to take away, as Jack alluded to. What are some of the positives that your team took away from this game, especially breaking down film on Saturday?
Well, one of the things we looked at, the first thing is we punted late in the game, but if you take that one out, we only punted the ball once. We were moving the ball. We shot ourselves in the foot. We had way too many turnovers. So the first thing that's number one. All the coaches say it because it's true. If you turn the ball over, it hurts the entire team, not just the offense, but it also puts the defense in a bind. So, that was probably our number one problem the other night. There was a couple run plays. Bowie did a great job of executing it. We weren't getting all the gaps filled, just bottom line. So those are the two main things. Hats off to Bowie. They did a good job. They're a good team. They're undefeated for a reason. I got a lot of respect for Coach Sam. I thought their O-line played really well. Their O-line I thought looked good on film. They were better in person than on film. I'll put it that way. So I'm really impressed with their O-line. They did a good job. If our guys will react the right way, we can learn from this going into next week. And we had a good Saturday. So I think everybody looked at the film. I think we saw what we need to fix. And, I think kind of like our last loss that we had versus Arlington this year, I think a good 80% of our stuff is very fixable. And the other team did have some talent, so there's a lot to do. Lot of our result had to do with that as well. So they are undefeated for a reason. But we do, we like our chances this week. I thought the kids handled Saturday about as well as you can, and I kind of look forward to getting back to work with them tomorrow.
Well, and we're, when you talk about learning opportunities, I mean, we're gonna just go ahead and profess we're gonna make the playoffs. I just feel like it. I just know these guys are fired up to do it, and it doesn't get any easier once you make the playoffs, in my opinion. No. So what a great learning opportunity, right?
Right.
So,
and one thing about our district, if you can get the playoffs coming out of our district, you'll play some good teams in the playoffs for sure. But we're going to see a level of talent similar to our district in the playoffs. Most of our district opponents have at least two 4-star recruits, if not 5-star. We're seeing those guys week in and week out. So, when we get in the playoffs, our first round opponent's going to have some talent, but it won't be something we haven't seen.
Brad.
Yeah, my other question here, Coach, was it semi-frustrating here, for them to get a big lead early in this one, to really take away from the effectiveness of the run game? Because definitely hard to run the football when you're down by several scores.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Because, we're very run-based, and we got down early, and then, we couldn't. We had one little spurt there where it was 21-7. Thought we had a chance to maybe chip back into the game. And then we had another turnover, and that kind of took the wind out of our sails going into halftime. They hit a big one on us right before half, a bomb on us, and he threw it 55 yards in the air. That quarterback's really good, and they called a good play and got kind of a dagger right before halftime that was really hard to overcome.
Great questions, Brad. Yeah. Well, I know you're going to be interviewing Coach for the next game, so I won't steal any of that because I feel like sometimes we ask too much about the next game, But
No, that's all right. That's okay.
Let's talk a little, just very highlight, because I know Brad's going to do a more in-depth interview this week, before we play next. It's going to be a live game, by the way, Brad, not just on our broadcast, but local Channel 33.
Yeah. Channel 33 is coming to the game. So
yeah. So talk a little bit highlight about this next week.
South Grand Prairie, if you want to say two teams that are kind of mirror images of each other as far as the progression of the not our schemes or anything, but just the way the seasons have gone. They beat Martin, we beat Martin, we lost to Arlington, they lost to Arlington. So we're about to face off with each other. Winter will kind of be in second place in the district, and they've done a good job all year. They run a pistol RPO type of scheme. They like to run stretch. Kind of if you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers and the 49ers, they like to base the run game kind of like those guys.
Nobody here is. Though, Coach.
Well, if you're a fan of football and you know what I'm
we
talking
like football,
about.
though.
Yeah. Coach DeLay's been there. In fact, Coach DeLay was at Arlington Lamar when we played against them in the playoffs a few years ago, and I've known Coach DeLay for a while. He does a heck of a job. Their defense is very, very sound. They're where they're supposed to be, I'm glad we got them at home. I'll put it that way. So, they're and I think when the kids start seeing the film, we're going to see a lot of things that that we've seen in some shape or form from some other schools early in the year, and then a few wrinkles. This will be the first team that majors in the pistol look quite a bit with their offense. So that'll be a little different.
Brad, you got any questions before we start? One of our favorite things to do is have Coach go through his players, of the week, and then we do a little film. I know some of the players here have already seen the film, but we haven't. So any questions before we get into that, Brad?
I've been chopping at the bit to look at film all day. Let's go.
He's ready. All right. Well, we're going to add your screen here, Coach. Brad, I'm going to take you out of the broadcast, and I'm going to shut up. You'll be around to watch it, and then I'm going to take our camera off too.
All right. Well, first on the screen, we see Xavier White, one of our linebackers. He did a great job on kickoff this week. He had 2 tackles. One of them you're going to see. We'll have a highlight here in a minute. But Xavier's done a good job for us all year. He's been one of our linebackers, been a little bit of a role player, and done a really good job on special teams the last couple of weeks. So we're glad to have him. The first clip on special teams is got a good punt here. If you watched our Martin game more than a week ago, we had some problems in punt protection. We got a lot of that shored up this week. So here we got a good clean pocket for our punter. We get a good 41-yard kick. We get it to roll. We get it inside the 10-yard line. So it's just a really good punt by our punter, Grady Tucker, who also Grady had a good night blocking for us at tight end too.
He's in the crowd going, I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
Hey, Grady, I'm going to play something that if you haven't heard this, you need it. This is what my mama used to say.
He that don't toot his own horn, it don't get tooted. He that don't.
It's okay to toot your own horn every now and then, buddy.
It's a pretty good job by Xavier, our special teams player of the year. He's coming to the screen right here along with Damian Bates. They squeezed the whole area on the kickoff. I think Damian would have made the tackle, but good job by Xavier. We call him X, basically pushing his blocker into the returner. So we get the ball inside the 30, or get him stopped inside the 30. And that's one of our goals going into all our games, to have our kickoff team hold the other team inside the 30. And we actually got that goal this week. And here's our kickoff return team. Coach Bond does a good job with our special teams. He's our special teams coordinator. He's got little nicknames for all our special teams units. So, he calls our kickoff return. If he's yelling playmakers on the sideline, that's who goes out here. So we get everything kind of wadded up here. We got a good block here from Grady. Grady, what do they call that position on the – what's Coach Bond call that position on the kickoff return? The Odin? Okay, the Odin. So, give it a good little block that lets Federico here bounce to the outside. We get it out past the 40. So, anytime you're getting the ball about midfield after a kickoff return, that's good stuff. And this Brian Connor's doing a good job staying with his block way away from the ball. I think one of the hardest things to do in football is open field blocking. But Brian Connor staying on him really lets Federico get the edge there. So that was a good job by Brian. And then offensively, Matthew Turner had some good catches for us this week. We threw the ball around a little bit more than usual. He had a nice catch on second down, I believe, on their sideline. Had another good one on a waggle play. Did a good job blocking for us all night too. Matthew had a really big catch earlier in the season against Boswell also that helped get us a touchdown right before halftime.
I thought he had a pretty good return in this game. Maybe I'm thinking another game.
He had a good one in this. I don't have it on the clips. He had a good return in this one also. It's a great job. Probably the number one highlight for the offense of the night. I got it first clip. But, we run a little bit of a tunnel sweep here. We pull both guards. Keenan does a good job being patient, makes a cut to the right. And then does a good job getting in the end zone. I always try to give Keenan a little bit of a hard time. I tell him he's not that fast, but he looks pretty fast.
He looks pretty fast.
Yeah. And Keenan went over 100 yards for us here this game, so he did a great job for us. Had a really good game. Bowie does a good job getting a lot of people in the coverage here. You can see they've got 6 guys covering 3. The O-line does a good job staying on their guys, getting the rushers upfield, and then Gage gets what he can, and it turns out to be a lot longer run than we thought. When he stepped up, we thought, okay, good, get what you can, but he ends up getting a 35-yard gain here. So
His first quarter?
This was – I don't remember when this was.
Fourth?
Fourth
quarter, oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was sooner than that. I remember that. Well, he does have some legs underneath him. Who knew?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of speed. Of course, we gave him a hard time for slipping there on the sideline, though. But
well, the guy I was listening to the broadcast. Everybody was worried that he'd hurt himself on the sideline, but he was safe. So yeah, all good.
Okay, it's a good tough run by Federico here. We get 5 yards, and then he's a good runner, so it's hard to get a hold of him. We get a horse collar tackle here also, so we get 15 yards tagged onto that. That's a good solid run. It's a good job here from Keenan being patient. The hole's designed to go inside, but he does a good job of clogging it up. Keenan bounces it, gets some good yards outside. Showing his speed again there. Here we move the pocket a little bit for Gage. It's a good throw to Matthew. This one this is one of the plays Matthew's player of the game for us this week. So a little bit of sprint out, a wheel out, catches the ball right on the sideline. It's a good play for us. So also you can see right here it's 3rd and 11. So right at the sticks. It's a good pass, good catch, get the first down.
That's
got his
move
feet
the
in.
Change, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good play for us. We hadn't thrown the ball a whole lot, so it was good to get some of this on film a little bit. Number one, get the kids' confidence. Also, number two, let the other team know we can throw it around a little bit.
Well, I think that's important. How many yards receiving? I didn't get the stat on that.
I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
I think Turner may have I think it's 40 or 50.
Not bad.
Yeah. So here we got lead play that, again, Bowie clogs it up, but Farhat, our tackle here, does a great job getting some severe movement here on their D lineman. That helps us bounce it right there. So that's a good job by him. And this, I think on these highlight reels, we've had about the same play about 3 times with about 4 different formations. But even though it's the same play, Keenan here does a good job because the play earlier, they clogged it up. This one, it kind of works out more like you draw it up, where we've got the kick out block by Jose here and Angel Padilla pulling up in the hole.
And good blocks there all the way through.
This is quick toss here. Again, Federico had the big game against Martin. You see him working his tail off and getting blocked here. So, that's one fun thing about this year so far has been that all of our guys like blocking for each other, and the running backs do it for each other as well. And Federico right here doing a good job on 24, getting enough of him that we get, again.
And didn't get a hold there either. That's what, sometimes that's a temptation. If you're not used to doing that.
We played a pretty clean game. I don't think we had any holding calls the other night. It was a good job. It's another good, tough run.
Block. Yep, nice. Yeah, Keenan slowed him up. That was good.
This is an old school trap play here. I think we're about one arm from that middle linebacker from this going a long way, but we block it pretty well. Angel gets a good trap block there. And right there, the Bowie defender does a good job getting his hand on him, slow him down a little bit, but with still a nice gain. Still a 5 to 6 yard gain there on the trap.
All day long.
All right, defense. We're going to defensive plays now. Damian Wayne had a big game for us. He had 5 tackles. He had a sack. I think he called his position coach earlier because I think we said 4 tackles on Twitter, and he said I had 5. So, but Damian's here today too.
Yeah, I thought that
Damian had
he was
sack,
hiding back there.
2 tackles for losses and a sack, something like that. Yeah, he had a big game for us. Now, Damian, these are the highlights Coach Swan sent me. So hopefully he's got some of you on here. So here Bowie's running a stretch play. Their backside tackle does a good job cutting Jaden Davis, but Jaden Davis is able to pop up, and him and Damian Bates still get in on the tackle here. It's for a 1 yard gain, maybe 0 yards. Another good play by Jaden here. He sheds the block.
And that's not holding out there.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I guess I didn't see that on the game.
Yeah. It's a good play by Jaden here. And then Mario helps come and cleans it up. We got Amari and Rich there on the tackle. It's really good to see people flying to the ball from the back end. And this, you can see on the end zone here, this was the first quarter too. So we had some good plays in the first quarter. Our big problem was the turnovers, and then we didn't play real well on third down defensively. So that's some of the things we're going to try to get short of this week. It's a good job by here's one for Damian right here. Does a good job working on the tackle, sliding underneath, making the play in the backfield. You got Damian Tellez setting a good edge there here on the outside.
Swing around. Yeah.
And there's the end zone of this is really good because you can see Damian's trying to keep outside leverage on that tackle, and then he works swapping hats with him at just the right time to get in that big gap and help get the running back down. Good job by Damian Bates here. Damian Bates, our inside backers, working off this edge right here. We've got our D end in the B gap, so we're giving up an angle on that D end, but we expect the inside backer to scrape off the edge there. So we're trying to get 2, and the outside backer comes, so it's 2 for 2, and we're going to need somebody to make whichever gap that running back picks. We got to hold that gap down and make the play. So luckily right here, Damian can slip that block. So sometimes 78. if he were to seal right there, now the backer's going to have to come up and get in this gap, then the secondary should come up. So it's all a big gap game. Get all the gaps filled, and they get to the edge, that's when the safety starts showing up. But here, Damien's able to slip to the gap and make him widen. Once we get the running backs wide going sideways, we feel like we got a lot of help coming, and that's what happened here.
There's Mr. 78 Holder again. He didn't get caught, did he?
I don't think they got him all night. So.
He was. I'm gonna have to go back and watch him.
They don't call a lot of holding anymore, Jack.
So do I need to throw some flags? I mean, what the heck? Why is that? Why we're on that subject? Because it irritates me. Is it they're just trying to get the game flowing and they don't want to do a lot of
Yeah,
but it's holding. I mean that other one was flat out in the back holding. So
it's a lot of times nowadays, if you're getting held but you are not working to get off of the hold, they won't call it. So if you're just getting held and standing there and you've got to do something to work to get off the hold, that's how it's been described to me by some officials.
Okay.
And as much as it annoys me as a defensive coach, if they're calling it
equally
the same on both ways.
Previous game was a little like that. Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, I may not like it, but I can at least respect it if they're calling it both ways the same way.
I'll lighten up. I'll try.
Okay. This play right here, pretty good coverage here right off the snaps. That makes the quarterback hesitate. On top of that, Damien has a good get off here on a pass rush. We'll watch tight in a second. We gets a sack right here, I believe. Yeah, we get a sack here. So
how good did that feel? I got a big thumbs up from him. Yeah.
Always good to get a sack. Always good to get a sack.
Not just a sack.
Yeah.
Throw you down sack. I like it. Yeah, that was good.
That was good. Look at the tile on this
Another
one.
good play.
So Bowie runs inside zone here. The tackle's working up to the inside backer, which, Davis does a good job here. He's got to check to see if the quarterback gave it or not, and then we want him to squeeze and make the play. He comes flat down the line, gets it on the tackle. That's the reason we're able to make that happen is Damien here is holding down his gap against the guy. You're probably giving up some pounds to him, huh, Damien? Now, Damien's probably giving up at least 60 pounds to this guy, so he does a good job not getting driven off the line. That lets
work those legs.
Jake Davis come off that and work, which is a good play for us. And Urim gets in on the tackle. Bowie executes this pretty good. This RPO game pretty good right here. We tell our guys, if we get RPO, we want 0 yards after the catch. So corner right here is breaking while the ball's in the air, pretty good. By Arias here, gets a good fit up on him. Logan gets there at the exact same time. So that's 4 yards. That's 4 yards on 2nd and 10 on RPO. We'll give that up. We'll go to 3rd and 6. We don't mind that. That's kind of how we do it. So that was a good play for us right there. Another good play by Logan right here. All right, they've got a full house backfield. We're wanting our outside backers, Logan, here to get underneath that tight end, getting to the C gap. He does a good job. He's underneath the C gap, fighting flat. Gets a hold of him, and then we get some help from the secondary coming up to finish off the tackle. So that was a really good play by Logan.
Logan's here tonight, too.
Here we reduced Logan down to a stand-up end here. It's almost a 4-man front. Trying to clog everything up on the inside.
Nice.
Get everything clogged up on the inside here. You see Jaden and Damien, who both of them are having a really good season at the end for us. They get in on this play here. We get a forced fumble and a recovery here. This is a great effort by Damian Bates here because Bowie executes this pretty well. We're a little late on some of our fits here, but you can see Damian here scraping off this and getting to the running back. Get a little bit of a gain here, but it's a really good open field tackle by him. And six is a pretty good back for Bowie. pretty good shape here by Arias. Another RPO here. Arias, our corner, breaks on. A little bit of space right now, but he does a good job closing the gap while the ball's still in the air. Ball's a little off, but we're in good shape there. We got a lot of people at the ball here. And we got the safety coming down, fitting where he's supposed to fit. That was a good job. That safety, Eli Lewis, he's one of our sophomores. This was his first major varsity action this week. You know, one of the downsides of getting down like that, you don't obviously you want to be down like that. But I guess one of the things you try to do, some guys that you think need a few more reps, you can get them out there and see if they can handle it. I thought Eli Lewis got some reps in the second half when we were down and did a good job showing up for us. So we think he's going to be a good player for us. Not just next year, but we think he's going to get in and play a little bit next couple games probably.
That's great.
Yeah, so he's doing a good job staying inside, kind of working that inside-out path here.
Well, folks, you're listening to the Coaches Show here at the American Legion, live here at the American Legion, where every Tuesday we have Taco Tuesdays, and every Wednesday we have Burger Nights. So come out, great pricing, support the Legion. I want to thank them for hosting us. The boys are having a good meal tonight, thanks to the folks here, the fine folks at the Legion, for feeding them. And, you know, you can come out and watch the live feed with Coach in person. Ask him all kinds of questions that I won't let you ask on the show.
You can ask me whatever question you want. Doesn't mean I'm going to answer.
That's true. All right, sorry, Coach.
No, that's all right. This play is in the second half, and you know one thing that was this again. You take a loss like that, you still want to look for some positive. And this was definitely a positive. This play right here, Bowie ran. They ran it earlier in the game on us and really got us. You know, really ripped us with it pretty good. So you know, talking to the guys at halftime and on the sideline about adjustments and. You know, when this happens, we've got to expect this play coming, and we've got to be able to play it better. So this is that, you know, receiver screen to the outside. They had scored on this earlier. But, you know, one big thing you need out of this, you need your D lineman really retracing. And, you know, our nose guard here, Mario right here, does a good job. He starts to turn while the ball's still in the air. And if Mario's not there, you can kind of see this path developing for this receiver. That's how it's designed. So you really need your D lineman to slam the brakes on and retrace on these screens. And Mario does a good job, and that helps allow his teammates kind of muddled up here in the wall to get through and help him get this guy down. So, you know, it's a little more evident on the tight. You can see Mario start running that way. You know, Mario's carrying some weight, but that's a big receiver also. So it's a pretty good little collision. They bounce off each other. But Eight's a really good player. He's probably he's one of the top two receivers in our district probably. Depending on who you talk to, he might be the best one.
He's a D1 guy already.
Yeah, he's got quite a few offers. But get a lot of hats to the ball, get the guy down. That was a 4-yard loss on a screen. So, you know, the fact that we played that better, you know, we've got smart guys. They listen to coaching. They do a good job. So I'm going to take that into the next game. Again here, we're pretty good in coverage here. We're able to get a sack. This is a sack, Damian. Mario and Bates in on the sack. We get the fumble. And it was a fourth down stop too. So
that's great. Like I said, a lot to celebrate, Coach. I mean,
there's some good things there. You know, when you turn the ball over, put yourself in a hole, it makes things tough. And you know, we had enough highlights. We feel like if we hold on to the ball a little bit better and we're a little bit more sound on some of the run game that got us on early, then I think it'd been a much better game. And they're a good team. They might have still beat us, but I think we didn't give our best showing, and we're looking forward to getting back out there next week so we can feel better about ourselves.
Sure. Tell us about Xavier. Have you already gone through?
Yeah,
you've already gone through. All right, I'm going to bring.
Xavier's here today.
Yeah, he is. We're going to bring Brad back into the show as well and get his mic on. And Brad, anything before any last parting shots? Or
Well, my only question is, going into this week, is there any extra pressure following the loss last week trying to make a push to the postseason?
Can you repeat that for me, Brad? I didn't quite get all that.
Yeah, is there any added pressure going into this week considering the loss and you really trying to make that postseason push?
Any extra pressure?
Any pressure coming into this week after that loss, for
It's-
postseason, berth or what have you?
I think that the same pressure we've had since district started. I think we need to win. We need to win games. If we win the next two, we're in for sure. And we don't have to worry about any weird tiebreaker scenarios popping up that we could be on the bad end of if we win the next two. So it's nice being this late in the year, still controlling our own destiny. If we have a slip up in one of these games, then we'll have to worry about the tiebreaker stuff. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to assume we're going to take care of our own business and not have to worry about that.
Yeah, and I think, again, Brad, as they go into this towards the end of the season here, the regular season, all these games are just opportunities for getting better. Yeah. And you've got, we've got some young players, and so.
And this will be an interesting week this week too, because we scrimmaged South Grand Prairie last year, so we've coached against them before. They've coached against us, so we were going to scrimmage them this year. Then we got put in the same district, so it should be a good matchup.
All righty. Well, Brad, if you don't have anything else for us, I'm glad. Safe drive from the stadium to your house. I know it looks like you're still sitting at the stadium, so good for the Buffalo Bills and their win. Yeah. All right. Appreciate that. And then we'll hopefully we'll see you guys in the stands because it's right around the corner. It's Thursday night.
It's Thursday night.
Thursday night game.
Yeah, it should be fun. A little bit of rain forecast, which we'll be the Water Buffaloes that night if that happens, so that's fine.
Yeah, we'll be. We've been the Water Buffaloes before, and it's turned out pretty much in our favor. So thank you all for joining us tonight. You have been listening to the Buffalo broadcast and the coaches show here live from the American Legion. And we're excited about you guys coming out and supporting the American Legion for Tuesday night tacos and for Wednesday for the burger night, and then more importantly, and not necessarily more importantly, but importantly, please come out Thursday night. Let's pack the FAC.
Yeah.
All right, we're out.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.